So a current event that's happening in the United States is the American healthcare system and what's going on with that right now. So right now, the conservative alternatives are repealing, replacing, and overriding Obamacare. Well, all three of these proposals would totally increase the uninsured rate for Americans that have health insurance. So less Americans will be covered if any of these GOP alternatives will pass Congress. And if these alternatives do take effect, then uninsured rate will this will totally change the American healthcare system. So the first point that I would like to make is if the GOPs wanted to repeal Obamacare, so totally get rid of Obamacare, which is the system we have now. So it will make insurance companies more competitive in the market, and it will make insurance companies more private and make them more, I would say, customizable for Americans, but less people will be covered because the cost will be so much higher. If we just totally take away the system we have now, people will not have the opportunity for them to get affordable health insurance if we just totally take Obamacare away. But replacing Obamacare was like an earlier idea for Congress, so now they're looking towards another alternative, which is replacing Obamacare with something else. So replacing Obamacare, the GOP wants to give the power to the states and let them make their own rules about regulating health insurance. So it would be more of a state issue instead of a federal issue, so it would be less federal regulations, but once again, less people will be covered because without those federal regulations, more people could be taken advantage of. And then the third alternative for the GOP for Obamacare is overriding Obamacare, which will, if you totally override Obamacare, it would give tax breaks to the rich, and less people will have insurance because if you just totally create more legislation that will, if you create more legislation that will make Obamacare not take effect, people with pre-existing conditions will not have the opportunity to have affordable insurance. So, in conclusion, the GOP conservative alternatives of repealing, replacing, and overriding Obamacare will cause the uninsured rate in America to increase, so less Americans will have health insurance. There are pros and cons to both of all the alternatives, but if the current GOP Senate bill, if that passes, then there will be a huge millions of Americans will lose their health insurance. But thank you for taking your time to watch this video. All right, goodbye.